Attention, please. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
You're listening to the House of Cards on Facebook, YouTube, and BigPatriotRadio.com. All licenses for music and content have been purchased by and are for the express use of the Big Patriot Radio networks. All information, opinions, and topics are for entertainment purposes and do not expressly represent the opinions of the show's host and or producer. Sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Locked and loaded.
Let's go.
Big Patriot Radio. Blues, news, country pop, and classic rock.
And good evening, everybody. Hey, it is August 21st. Glad to have you here. It's Thursday night, and we just had a storm out here. Wow, the rain came down like we needed some more rain. My name is Mike Covert. I'm coming to you live from the Big Patriot Radio studios here in the great state of South Carolina. Hope everyone is doing well tonight. Want to welcome all those folks on Facebook and YouTube and to those around the world listening on BigPatriotRadio.com. Thank you so much for those of you that have been here since the beginning and those of you that have come along as we've been going. First timers tonight, welcome, a special welcome to you. Glad to have you, whether you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or listening over on BigPatriotRadio.com. All right, so listen up, chat. You can do some things tonight. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to comment as we're going through the show. Comment about what we're talking about. Also, let us know where you're tuning in from. That helps all the algorithms and all that kind of stuff. Let's see what we have. Number one song last week, see if that'll pull up here, on BigPatriotRadio.com was Rock and Roll Fantasy by Bad Company. Bluffton and Beaufort, South Carolina were the number one listening cities last week. Blythewood, South Carolina, that's north of Columbia. Hilton Head and Pooler, Georgia. You all were rounding out the top 5 for last week right here on BigPatriotRadio.com.
Wickedness and filth this world has to offer.
Yeah.
Rock music that shatters your bones. Big Patriot Radio.
That's some serious rock.
And you're responsible.
Hey, we have a new advertiser with us, both here on the Beaufort County's House of Cards and over on Big Patriot Radio. Have you been hearing the ads? They're all over BigPatriotRadio.com. Obviously, they're here every week on this show, but all over the channel, BigPatriotRadio.com, 24 hours a day. Excuse me. That is skipsdefuskytees.us. You see it right there, skipsdefuskytees.us. They have, we want to welcome to the family, but they have got an incredible selection of t-shirts, kind of an Americana theme, U.S. military, Trump, GOP, some shirts taking a few shots at Iran. There's even shirts with many of the U.S. cabinet on them. Folks like Pete Hegseth, Kristi Noem. There are shirts with the B-2 stealth bomber. There's even one I like. It's got a map of Iran and a B-2 bomber. You can probably figure that out. All American patriotism and so much more. Matter of fact, let's hear a message from Skips Defusky Tees.
Skips Defusky Tees is giving you a reason to laugh and a reason to travel. Every shirt you buy is a ticket in the Trump Trip giveaway, where you could win a luxury stay in New York City, Vegas, or Miami. We're talking penthouse suites, spa days, casino chips, and flights for 2. And all you had to do was buy a t-shirt. Go to skipsdefuskytees.us and grab yours now. The shirts are funny. The prize, it's serious.
That's skipsdefuskytees.us. These are all made right here on Defusky Island. They're all U.S. made. doesn't get any more made in America than Daufusky Island, let me tell you. And here's probably the best part. I talked a couple things. First of all, I talked to the owner, and he's coming out with some new shirts. Going to be on his website. Go check it out, skipsdafuskytees.us. And they're pledging to send 80% of the profits off these T-shirts directly to solid GOP top campaigns. The Win Red, that's from the President Trump level of campaign donorship, and hopefully they'll be able to filter it right down to down ballot politicians and folks that want to represent you. Anyway, check them out today, skipsdafuskytees.us. We thank you for being a part of the show. We do have a great show on board and scheduled for you tonight. Don't forget, once again, all of you out there in chat, be sure to jump on your chat room there and comment. We want to know what's on your mind. We want to know your thoughts about what we're talking about. And we just want to hear from you.
Locked and loaded.
Let's go.
Big Patriot Radio. Blues, news, country pop, and classic rock.
I want to first start off by recapping what our major story was last week. We brought you can call it part 3, if you will, of an in-depth look into the Beaufort County Economic Development Corporation, the BCEDC. Its funding, its grant awards, its expenses, the whole story. We wanted to show you how they are funded, and they are funded with 100% of your money in one fashion or the other. Their vision and their mission and all of that is to create economic development in Beaufort County, not economic growth. Remember, there is a difference. Economic growth is mom and pop stores, grocery stores, clothing stores, gas stations, air conditioning companies, plumbers, roofers, hairdressers. All that is economic growth. The BCEDC's reason for living is economic development. Economic development is identified as things like industry, manufacturing, large-scale medical development, things like electronics, server farms. That is a economic development driver. Shipping, warehousing, all that kind of stuff. Not mom and pop. Those are economic development drivers. That's what they were intended for. We brought you the final story as part of this on the Blackwoody Group in Bluffton, excuse me, that applied for and received a $75,000 grant from the BCEDC. And by the way, as we told you last week and showed you last week, they did not meet any of the criteria required vis-a-vis what we also call the metrics. But the BCEDC went ahead and gave them the money anyway. They gave their financier, I believe they've got a grant. Instead of clawing back any monies, the BCEDC, through the executive director, in my terminology, the numbers changed. The metrics changed. They were inflated and they changed and they morphed, and they were inflated and they changed and they morphed. We showed that to you. Those numbers were from their own mouths. Okay. They inflated them, they changed them, and no one on the board of directors, no one has questioned it until now. Now, the heat has been turned up so high that the cockroaches are running for cover because of the light. You want to talk about suppression? This is a perfect example of suppressing Joe and Jane America by hiding the information that they deservedly have a right to see. don't be dismayed by any of this. We're not letting this go. There are still some things developing. We're not going to go anywhere. In fact, we're going to be fighting with even more power and more backup if the FOIA requests get to be so out of hand by the BCEDC, if that happens, that normal folk, we're going to be your voice. We're going to ask for those FOIA. We're going to submit them and bring you the answers. What should actually incense every single taxpayer, no matter where you live, if a penny is spent in and it is taxed in Beaufort County, then this should incense you. And what should that be? Ever since at least a full year, we have inclination that it may go back 2 to 3 more years, but at least a year, the BCEDC has been paying the rent for Blackwoody. This is a person driven, with a board and all that your public tax dollars are paying for. It may go further back than that 1 year, but your tax dollars have been paying their rent for at least a year. At least a year. It may go back further. We're not sure until we get to look at other bank records. All that has to be, asked for under FOIA. We really don't know yet. Now, how, you may ask, well, how do you know this? Well, that's a great question, and I'm glad you asked. Because the executive director and the BCEDC said that they were paying the rent in documents that we published, and I believe those were part of the multiple documents that we published last week. They said they're paying the rent for that group. All of this is public information. All of it. It's easy for you to get a hold of. It's easy for anybody to get a hold of. Excuse me. Again, for what we put together, we certainly don't mind sending it to you. If it's public information. We have no reason to not share it. We'd be more than happy to. Just shoot us an email. See if I have that here. Shoot us an email at bigpatriotradio@gmail.com. That's bigpatriotradio@gmail.com. And just ask, hey, I like to see this. I like to see that. Whatever it is, just let us know. And we will go from there. So let's take a look here. All right. We'll have a change of plans. Our guest tonight was going to be, and I say was, I just got a notice from them that they have a family emergency. And we'll find out about that, and hopefully everything is okay. We have been wanting to do a dialogue and back and forth with the folks from New America Movement. We have podcasts here all week long on Big Patriot Radio. Monday nights is New America Movement. They are at 7 o'clock and 9 o'clock hour slots. Two shows, same show done twice. They come from Pickens County, South Carolina. David and Jordan Cox have a great spin on their type of delivery of the news, mainly having to do with the upstate of South Carolina. Now, for tonight's show, it was going to be a dialogue back and forth with the upstate and the low country, the similarities, the differences. When the truth hurts, we're going to deliver it to you. You might be shocked, but we'll get them back on next week, it looks like. So they're on Monday nights. Thursday nights is us right here at Beaufort County's House of Cards at 7 o'clock on Big Patriot Radio. On Saturdays, Ann Ubellis and Southern Sense Radio podcast is at 7 o'clock. She is the Radio Chickadee. Tune in to listen to her. About an hour and a half long podcast. Again, her spin on conservatism and politics from a national view is very entertaining, very interesting, and we're glad to have Miss Ann on the show. And then Sundays, my good friend Andrew Southwick and the Culture Crossroads, that is now a television show. His podcast is on here at 7 o'clock on Sundays. So anyway, let's we're going to skip over that. I did want to go into this is going to be a short show because not able to bring those two fellows on. But let me bear with me a second while I bring this up here. A couple of stories that I did want to mention to you. I heard this earlier. Apparently, if you didn't hear, that there was reported shots fired at Villanova University in Pennsylvania earlier. There was an incredible police presence. From what I heard right before coming on the air from reputable news sources, is that was a hoax. That was a hoax. My thoughts on that are really, people, really. It was the first day back at school for orientation at Villanova University. We've seen this happen at, elementary schools and middle schools or junior high schools, colleges, to do this, to have a real active shooter. Nobody, approves of that, but making it a hoax. It's not funny. It's not comical. You're not going to win any friends and influence others by doing that. You are a scumbag. And at some point, somebody will turn you in. They always do. You never win from that kind of stuff. So if you hear about that, Villanova University, again, from what we're being told from reputable news sources, that ended up being a hoax. Other top stories going on. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem just received word that she got a victory. Read this story to you from the usually liberal Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, which is on the left coast. That was on Wednesday. A panel of judges ruled to allow the DHS to revoke refugee status for illegal immigrants from 3 key countries. Those countries happen to be Honduras, Nicaragua, and Nepal. The illegal immigration issue obviously is huge right now. It has been for quite a while. Victories like this are going to keep pushing the narrative that we as a nation are smarter than what you saw with Joe Biden and Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton and that ilk. We are much smarter than this, because let's boil this down. And I don't think we've had this conversation on here. From the 287G program, that was the last time I really spoke about it with Sheriff Tanner. The 287G program is an information gathering program. It's not, we're going to round up everybody with brown skin, or because they all think it's only Latinos, and that's not it. It's illegal. This is 287G is a fact-finding, information gathering, a source of intelligence that the Sheriff's Department cannot get normal. They can now get from places like Kristi Noem and the DHS and other federal entities. We talked about it with the 287G. There is a problem, this nationwide problem of illegal immigration. Really, before you get down into the throes, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, but before you get into the throes of it, the first word is illegal. That's really where this should stop. Illegal. If you come here illegally, you've committed a crime. I saw a podcast, I guess it was the other night, people holding signs up saying, people aren't criminal. These aren't criminals. They're moms and dad. Well, wait a minute. They are criminal. If they came here illegally, they are criminals. I would submit to you, take a trip overseas and try to go from one country to another and see, maybe in the EU, maybe, you still have to have documented information. And matter of fact, more that I think about it, if you try to sneak in, it's very harsh. But try to go in Latin America. Try to go from Guatemala into Belize. Gave you a story already that I met two guys there that were ready to shoot, Jaguars and Guatemalans. They don't play. Go to Africa and try to cross from Algeria into Morocco, just whistling Dixie. They will kill you. Most places on this earth, you cannot just leisurely walk into. Well, we should. Okay, well, if that's what you want to think, then, I mean, whatever. But that's not how it works. So the point of this is, if it's illegal, it is a crime. Now, if you want to have the conversation of birthright citizenship, I think that's going to be a very hotly talked about conversation as we continue to go. But coming here illegally should stop the conversation once and for all. You are here illegal. Let's go forward to the next one. I've heard people say, well, you know, President Trump and his administration said they were only going to remove criminals that were here illegally. Well, that's not exactly what they said. They said that's what they are most interested in, but they never said that's the only. Okay? Again, if you are here illegal, you have committed a crime. You could be the nicest person on earth, and if you walk into Parker's and pick up a bag of chips and walk out the door, it may have only been $2.99, but you have committed a crime. Well, do you think Parker says, well, because it's only $2.99 or probably $4.99 now, we won't worry about that. It's only when they get to $20 we start worrying about it. No. That's not how that works. That's not how that works. Other top news story. Again, I'd love to hear from you what your feeling is about all that. I do feel that the wall should be built. You see, there's a sign up here on my wall, build the damn wall. I firmly believe in that. There needs to be a border around our country like there is everywhere else. Every nation should be able to show where their borders are. Borders are a good thing. It's not to keep you in, it's to keep them out. You want to come to America? We love you to come to America. America has been putting its arms out and open for people for centuries. That's how we got where we are. Do it the legal way. Do it the legal way. You want to go to Canada, but you don't want to go through the checkpoint. You want to go through the backwoods of Minnesota? I got a feeling you're probably going to hate that idea when they catch you. And they will. You're going to have a bad day when that happens. Let me see here. Other stories going on throughout the nation. I found it funny in a warped way. President Trump and the United States put they didn't actually put it. It was already there. They increased the bounty on Nicolas Maduro's head. He is the, some would say the president of Venezuela. Others would say he is the illegitimate, and this is how I prescribe to it or subscribe to it, the illegitimate president of Venezuela. I don't believe he is the legitimate one. And the one who is, his name just slipped off the edge of my tongue. But anyway, it's not Maduro. Anyway, Maduro has a $50 million bounty on his head by the United States government. So this has been wildly talked about. And Maduro has, you can tell, I'm sure, even as pompous and as braggadocio as he is, his sphincter has gotten really tight. He is reaching out to Russia, to China for their help and their influence. China has condemned it. Russia has condemned it. The United States has said, you know what? We're going to put some military ships there off the coast of Central America or South America. And they have. And Trump has. China recently called it Donald Trump interfering in foreign affairs. That's what you want to call it. I call it doing what you have to do. I'm sure there's somebody in the background there going, well, why are we putting a bounty on somebody's head who is insignificant to life? Well, Maduro actually is very significant to life remaining. Why is that? Because he is the epitome of a drug lord. Okay, one of the world's largest drug lords. Venezuela, which was once it still is beautiful, but it was a beautiful, prosperous, lavish, lush, wealthy, wonderful country until Hugo Chavez came in control. I believe, Chavez. The country went into a death spiral of socialism and communism. The country now has no worth. Was an extremely large oil producer. The country has no worth. Their value of money is defunct almost entirely. The place is a ghetto from front to back, except where Maduro lives in his palace. Maduro has become a institutor of demanding what people say, wear, do, and believe, at the same time promoting the manufacturing, the trafficking, the delivering of narcotics, including fentanyl from China through his country up into Middle America, into the United States, where he can get the biggest bang for his buck. Is it necessary to have that $50 million bounty on his head? Well, what's the value of lives in America? People dying hourly from fentanyl overdose. I heard the other day on a national news source that even marijuana has been found to be traced in some places with fentanyl. They have taken fentanyl and crushed it and then put it into a paste, liquefied the paste, and almost, I'm going to use the word paint, broad strokes, if you follow me, onto marijuana leaves, dried it, cut it up, however they do that. And people have died. So it's not only the grain of sand fentanyl that'll kill you. Now someone could be smoking it. Whether you're smoking it to get high, or some places that maybe you're PTSD or cancer or whatever, and it's an unregulated marijuana. Not sure how that works, but it's unregulated. You could get marijuana that will kill you. That is what Nicolas Maduro believes in. That is how Nicolas Maduro has garnered this $50 million bounty on his head from the United States.
Everything that rocks is right here. Right here.
Let's rock.
With Big Patriot Radio.
That's what I'm talking about.
Something that happened here recently, within the last few days, has brought some attention. Not as much as I thought it would, but it has brought some attention. I'm sure everyone here in the Low Country especially, but actually he's known all over the country. But really right here on the East Coast, or the coastal South Carolina. South Carolina and Florida resident Skip Hoagland went to to court the other day. And I'm using unprepared notes for this, so just work with me here. Anyway, it was a court appearance from a earlier few months ago, a trespassing notice at a political event put on by either one of the clubs in the Republican Party or the county Republican Party, one of the two, or a mixture thereof. It doesn't really matter. But he had his court date. Well, make a long story short, the end of the court was Mr. Hoagland being sentenced to 15 days in jail, which for trespassing, for someone who's never, doesn't have a criminal record that I'm aware of, 15 days. Now, I had to confirm that, because I was like, nah, there's no way. $5,000 fine. Okay, I can get your attention with that. But 15 days? I'm not saying it's right, wrong, or otherwise. I'm just saying I thought that was a little stretch. went on the Beaufort County Detention Center's website. You can go to look up the current inmates, and boom, he's right there. Calvin Hoagland, picture and everything. Now, what I have a problem with is this. There was recently an arrest made. Obviously, everyone is innocent until proven guilty in an arrest. Now, Hoagland was not an arrest. That was a sentencing. He was found guilty and sentenced right there. Anyway, there was someone arrested, believe it was Hilton Head, last name of Fields, well-known drug member of the world, was arrested for manufacturing, trafficking, possession with intent, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, possession of narcotics within a distance of a school or a park or whatever. I mean, it was a list, no joke, that deep. And it was manufacturing methamphetamines, manufacture, traffic, possession, all the above. Methamphetamine, fentanyl, crack cocaine, and I believe it also said crack cocaine / cocaine, in all these different forms. I mean, it was multiple counts. If you go pull up this cat on the clerk of the court website, and you look at his rap sheet that you can get to, holy cow. I mean, this friggin' guy has been arrested for drugs all over the place. I mean, it's amazing. He was in jail for like 3 days and he got bond, but yet Hoagland gets sentenced to 15 days in jail. I just don't understand. I don't see how that what do I want to say? Hey, Julianne says truth. Yeah. I just don't understand how that gets quantified. How do you come to that? I'd love to have a judge or a lawyer or somebody say, hey, it's this way, and explain it, because I would love to learn. I'm a seeker of learning, but I don't get that one. I just don't get it. Am I saying what he did is right or wrong? Trespassing? No. I'm not saying that. I'm not getting into that because I don't know the particulars of all of it. I'm saying the sentence of 15 days just seems a little much for a 78 or 9-year-old man who, I mean, he hasn't done anything that I'm aware of. Yeah, it runs very deep in Beaufort. I mean, that's what keeps this show in business, is the corruption in Beaufort for the most part. You're right, Julianne. You're exactly right. So, again, I'd love to hear how they can substantiate that. But yet this Fields guy, who's, he wasn't convicted of all these things, but looking at his background, I mean, okay, but he gets out on bond. I was talking to somebody else about it, and they said, look deeper. There's an attempted murder charge in there. I haven't had time to look for it. If somebody else knows, many of the people I associate are well aware of this. Let me know. I don't know if there is or not. But it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. Something else that doesn't make sense is the fact that the city of Beaufort, wow. The big story with the city of Beaufort, and we talked about it last week here, was that the Hollis family had put in their own FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, to the city and the city PD of Beaufort for information about their daughter's runaway / abduction ? What they got was 9,000 pages of unredacted material about that, about Joe and Jane America's social security number, other people who have had maybe a police call on them or have made police calls, information of addresses and, like I said, social security numbers. To the person who just sent me the text, if you want to come on and talk about that, let me know. Otherwise, thank you. Information involving things that have nothing to do with their daughter or the case. Yes, there was things that do, but they went ahead and added in, of the 9,000 things, stuff that had nothing to do with it. This is a major, major screw up. It just so happened to be screwed up to the people who are trying to find out information on their daughter's case. That is the perfect storm for the city of Beaufort to stub their toe. They didn't stub their toe. They dropped an anvil on their toe. Helga, hey, how are you doing? We're not allowed to be passionate, she says, about anything that they're not passionate about. BCRP is run by Non-America First. We're going to talk more about that as we get into fall. Helga, we'd love to have you on and talk about that with if you'd like to as well. We're going to go into that subject and investigate that. But the city of Beaufort turned these items loose. They called the family and said, we made a mistake. Please don't share that. Now, obviously, there was more than just that, but that's the gist of it. Now, the father came out and made the comment, we are not, we're better than this, so to speak. We're not going to share this. This is horrible, et cetera, et cetera. They should have known better. Oh, gotcha. Well, a day later, somebody shared it because it was on the internet. Not saying you did it, just saying somebody did because it's out there. There's stuff out there now. If you dig deep enough, and if you were watching on TikTok and downloading every time the Low Country Whisperer made a post, and who's now gone for like the 4th or 5th time, unfortunately, that stuff is out there. So to those folks whose information is out there, you need to stop every credit card, every bank account, and go into panic mode to stop things before you're ripped off. Contact a lawyer. I'm not offering any legal advice. Don't plan to, and never said I did, but that would probably be a good time. So anyway, you know the story now. The city of Beaufort hadn't said anything. They eventually came out with some sort of written reply, I guess you call it. And I think that they probably would have been better off if they had not done that. Okay? If they had not tried to pacify people with an excuse, I think they'd have been better off because of the way they did it. So now, and we saw this all over TikTok and Facebook and X and things, people are calling for the city manager and the assistant city manager, and I believe she would be the PIO, I believe. They're calling for their jobs to have been pulled. And I understand that kind of information. That's not a oops. That's not a screw up. That is severely negligent. That is the makings of a horrible lawsuit that could have been prevented, that should have never happened. But the city of Beaufort's first knee-jerk response is, well, if we'd have had our new system up and running by then, this would not have happened. How would anyone know if their personal info was in there? Can't trust the city to inform you. No, you can't. And if it was anybody, any city, I wouldn't trust them to tell you. How do you know? That's a damn good question, Julianne. I know of someone who said that her information was on there. I don't know how she knows that, other than a lot of this stuff is out there on the internet. Again, I don't know by who, but I saw it. I saw it with my own eyes. It wasn't 9,000 pages worth, but I saw a lot. I can't answer your question It's a great question. How do you know? I don't know if any of my information got out there. I have no idea. I haven't had anybody call me or try to, take the mortgage on my house or anything. So I think I'm okay by now. But the point of this is the city. What should the city's response do? Well, a lot of folks are also putting an eye and a finger now towards city council. They are the boss, the employer of the city manager. The city manager, Scott Marshall, and I have to say, I think it was that Low Country Whisperer, or at least I saw it on there, coined the term Scott Tissue Marshall. I thought that was cool. Well played. Anyway, he is the employee of the city council. The assistant city manager, the PIO, any of those folks, they work for the city manager. So city council, and I know for a fact that they were going to meet. Matter of fact, let me look here I had an answer from one of the, let's see if I can find him again. One of the city council people, and now I cannot find it. Son of a gun. Well, they were going to be, meeting this week. I don't know if they have put out a statement since then. I haven't seen it, and I'm extremely disappointed that we are. Somebody help me. How many days since this has been out there, and this still has no resolution? It smells the same way we smell out of county council chambers from Joe Passamitz and Larry McKellen and during that whole time, and the whole stink coming out of the administration building. You know, City Hall is just across, it's catty corner from the county building. I mean, what is there, a black cloud on that corner? I mean, what the hell's going on Boundary and Rebo? I mean, it's a stink fest. It's a sewer gas. City council really needs to get a grip on this and come out and make a position, head it straight on, grab that ram by the horns and move forward, admit the mistakes, make whatever has to be made in restitution for that. Whatever, that's for a lot of lawyers to decide, and a lot of insurance companies, and way out of my pay grade. Make that restitution, make it right, and move forward. Correct it by firing whoever, whether it's 1 or 101. That is a irresponsible act. I don't care who it is. The biggest of the big, the smallest of the small. City council, you have got to take action. People started getting mad. They started getting upset. They've moved along now till they're pissed. And when people are pissed, things begin to get ugly. And I'm not advocating for ugly. I'm advocating for city council to, I hate to say it, fellas, but grow a pair of balls and get to work making this right. Do what you got to do. And if that means to fire the city manager, then fire him. If it's not, then don't, but direct him on what to do, because this is dangerous. This is dangerous, dangerous, dangerous. So we'll keep you up to date on that as that world spins around. Last thing we're going to talk about is something we actually learned, and we're going to be investigating this a little bit more. Thanks, Julian. It happened 2 weeks ago. There you go. That's bad, because 2 weeks, a lot could have happened. A response could have happened. A plan could have happened. An after event plan could have happened. People that need to be replaced could at least be gone. And talk to the citizens and let them know what you're doing. And I think the temperature would have come down in the room. I always have said, people can handle bad news. They can. I've had to deliver it. It's so that people can handle it. They may get pissy, but they can handle it. What they can't handle is when they're bullshitted. And people know when you're bullshitting them. And people know when you're lying to them. So for city council or county council or the county administrator or the city manager to duck your head in the sand because both sacks haven't dropped, whatever, that is implorable. Deplorable, rather. Deplorable. Hey, Debbie. Debbie says you're not permitted to talk about the computerized V machines. That's right. It's the V machine that have proven irregularities with the BCRP elections, and the V system is the foundation of our freedom, and you can't talk about it. That's I wasn't going into that, but that's a great topic, Debbie, and I appreciate you bringing that up. Speaking of the V machines, you know, those of us in the Conservative Party that it recognize, you know, Donald Trump is obviously the president of the United States. He is the head of the Republican Party. He has come out and made it very clear that he agrees with, call them America First, call them conservatives, call us whatever you want to call us, the people who have said these machines are corrupt. Again, yours truly, I've seen it with my own eyes. I was a victim of it. I was a victim, and actually my opponent at the time was a victim of it. The machines are crooked. The president of the United States, the leader of the Republican Party, has said, we got to get rid of these machines. We need to go back to paper ballots where you vote in private and they're recorded in public, same day voting. That, hey, now we're talking about it. You know what they do in places like Afghanistan? Yeah, their elections are rigged. Well, so are ours. But anyway, theirs are really rigged. They do it with purple ink. And if you're walking around town, Kabul, and you've got a purple spot on your thumb, and it takes days for it to leave, you can't vote again. And they do it in paper, they do it in private, and it's all recorded in public. I don't see that being that bad of a problem, do you? The way we do it here in the free world, the leaders of the free world are doing it under a corrupt. And again, I'm sure there are people out there going, oh God, another voting election denier. I'm not saying however many votes were rigged. I don't know. I really don't care at this moment. I know with my own two eyes, my wife was there. Long-time listener, Nancy was there. People from the county were there. They saw the machines be changed, not duplicated, but whatever you do in electronic terms, over the internet with no cable connection. We saw them happen with our own eyes. So these machines are bad. Now, I haven't seen anything come out from the BCRP. I would like to. I think that would be wise. Are they behind and standing for the removal of these machines, or are they not? And if they are not, they need to be let it known, because that is not in line with what the leader of the Republican Party right now in the United States, President Donald J. Trump, that is not in alignment with what he has said. So let's ask the BCRP, Chairman Kevin Henley, do you and your board agree with President Trump and the Republican stance, America First, that the voting machines we use in the United States need to be gone? They need to be gone right away and go back to paper ballots, same-day voting, voting in private, reading them in public, and end this charade. In this charade. Yes, Julianne, I have offered that to Chairman Henley many times, and he hasn't said no. So I can't say he's turned me down, but he hasn't responded. And I didn't put up my little thing up here at the top on my screen that shows the people that are on. So he may be watching now. So if you are, Kevin, I'd love to have you on. This is a serious topic. Let's talk about the voting machines. Let's talk about them. Is the county party, Jasper County, I think Karen is the chairwoman out there. I'd love to hear from you, Karen. Does Jasper County stand behind the leader of the Republican Party and President Donald J. Trump in the fact that these machines should be removed? Do you support that? Colleton County, a revitalized Republican Party. Do you, Colleton County, will you come on and tell us, do you stand behind our president in the fact that these machines must be removed? Love to hear from you on that. All right. We apologize that we couldn't get our guest on tonight. Obviously, they had, well, not obviously, but I mean, they said they had some kind of emergency. So if they're watching, hope that works out and all is better soon. Tune in next week. We're going to have them on. That's New America Movement. We're going to have them on. Yes, Debbie, hand-marked paper ballots. Absolutely. And they can do it. They can be serialized. It's already available. Tune in next week, 7 o'clock, right here on Facebook, YouTube, simulcasting on BigPatriotRadio.com. Don't forget to tell your friends to like and share away. Like and share. Tell everybody that you know to, just like it says right there, like and follow. We want them all to get them algorithms going. All right. Don't forget, like and share one more time. I can't repeat it enough. The show, we appreciate you coming back here. We will be back next Thursday. So until then, watch your six. Good night, everybody.